Okay, today we start a new mode of heat transfer. This is radiation. Okay, already we discussed conduction part. So basically in conduction convection, all of you see already that the temperature in the order of degree of 1 only. Means if the difference of the temperature will be in centigrade and Kelvin scale both are same because it is a degree of order 1. But in radiation, it is the degree of order 4. So what will happen? Always you calculate the temperature here in Kelvin because the temperature is the fourth power. So always when you in radiation, always you temperature difference or any other things because that's in the power will be 4. So in difference in centigrade scale and difference in Kelvin scale is not does not same because here it is suppose T1 to the power 4 minus T to the power 4. So if you convert to the T in Kelvin, so its power 4 and T2 its power 4 will be different. But if in centigrade scale, this value will be also different. So always remember for radiation, the temperature in a degree of 4. Okay. Now, what is radiation basically? So radiation basically the transfer of energy across the system boundary by means of an electromagnetic mechanism, which is caused solely by a temperature difference. So basically in conduction or convection, in conduction basically the electron or the lattice vibration of the electron basically transfer the your energy, and for convection a medium will be required to flow through the to heat transfer. So mass flow will be there, but for radiation it will be only solely for any required medium. Here only it is due to the electromagnetic mechanism and it is mostly effective in the vacuum. Okay, vacuum. And another thing, the rate of heat transfer by conduction and convection varies as a temperature difference to the first power. But previously we told you, and radiation heat exchange between two bodies depend on the difference between the temperature in the fourth power. Now both the amount of the radiation and quality of the radiation depend upon the temperature. And the example for the radiation will be the dissipation from the filament of a vacuum tube or the heat leakage through the evacuated wall or thermoflux are some familiar example for the radiation. Also some example if you see if you have visited any steel factory or steel plant, so there will be huge furnace. So outside the furnace if you stand you see feel the heat because the temperature of the steam it will be approximately 1300 degrees centigrade or 1400 degrees centigrade higher than this. So you feel the heat coming out. So this is basically the radiation. And also very common example for the heat transfer by solar heat transfer, solar energy instead upon the earth, also governed by the law of radiation. So basically here the energy which is radiating the surface release is not continuous but is the power of successive and separate discrete packet of the quantum energy. Here that some quantum theory will be applied because this phenomenon of the radiation similar to the concept of the physics, light concept of the physics in quantum theory. So basically the energy which is radiating surface release is not continuous but is in the form of successive or separate packet of quantum. And this is called, this separate packet of quantum is called the photon. So the photon are propagated through the space as a ray, and the movement of the speed of the photon is described as an electromagnetic wave. And the photon travel the speed with equal to the light is straight path with unchanged frequency. When they approach the receiving surface, they occur reconversion or wave motion into the thermal energy, which is partly absorbed, partly reflected, or partly transmitted. Okay, so depend upon the nature of the surface. So this is about the mechanism of the radiation. So all types of electromagnetic are classified in terms of wavelength and propagated in the speed of light, which is c 3 into 10 to the 8 meter per second. So the electromagnetic spectrum are shown in the figure. If you see there will be a figure, different electromagnetic spectrum below. So the distance between one form of radiation and another lie only the frequency f and wavelength, which are related by c into gamma into lambda into f. So if you see here, you see the lambda range will be 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 4. It will be the gamma ray. Okay. Then 10 to the power minus 4 up to 10 to the minus 4 it will be X-ray. Okay. And 10 to the minus 2 up to that 0.40 will be the ultraviolet. And 10 to the minus 2, 10 to the 2 will be the thermal radiation. So basically this is for the thermal radiation, basically the length 10 to the power minus 7 to 10 to the power minus 4. So you see this is the 10 to the power minus 4. So and it depended upon the thickness of the emitting layer and the gas pressure. So thermal radiation exhibits characteristics similar to those of the visible light and follow optical law. So similar to the law of light or law of optical law. So these can be reflected or refracted or transmitted or scattered. So depend upon the your media. Okay. Now, what is the absorptivity and reflective and transmittivity? Suppose there will be a plate. Suppose this is a plate. On this plate, G amount energy will be reflected. Sorry, G amount energy incident upon this plate. Okay. So G amount incident upon this plate. So some amount of the energy will be reflected. Some amount energy will be absorbed by the body, and some amount energy will be transmitted to the another layer of the body. So we can write. So here the reflected radiation will be GR, absorbed radiation will be GA, and transmitted radiation GT. So we can write the total heat incident upon this surface will be sum of this radiation energy plus absorbed energy plus transmitted energy. So this is called GA plus GR plus GT equals to G. Now if we divide it, all side will be by G. So this is GA by G, GR by G, GT by G. So this is, so from this we can write alpha, rho and tau. So here alpha is the absorptivity, rho is the reflectivity, and tau is the transmittivity. So here alpha means how much ratio of the total energy will be absorbed by the body. Similarly, GR by G means how much ratio of the total energy will be reflected by the body. Similarly, GT by G tau means how much energy of the total energy transmit to the another surface. So this is called the absorptivity, reflectivity, and transmittivity. Now, when the incident radiation is absorbed, is converted into internal energy. Okay, basically. So there will be, depend upon the alpha rho tau value, there will be some body will be there. So first one is the black body. So for black body, it is considered as a perfect absorbing body. So if it is perfect, it means what will be incident upon the surface, it will be totally absorbed. There will be no reflection, there will be no transmission. So alpha equals to, for this alpha equals to 1, rho equals to 0, and tau equals to 0. So it is called a black body. Black body means neither it reflect or not transmit any part of the incident radiation but absorb all it. In practical, perfect black body does not exist. However, its concept is very important. Next one is the opaque body. In opaque body, there will be no transmission. So totally energy incident upon it will be totally absorbed and reflected. So here alpha plus rho equals to 1. So the solids generally do not transmit unless the material is of very thin section. And metal absorb radiation within a fraction of micrometer, insulator within a fraction of millimeter, classes lipid are therefore generally considered as an opaque body. Then white body. In white body, it will be totally reflected. Means what will be the incident upon the surface? It totally reflect on the body. So means there will be alpha equals to 0, means there will be no absorption, no transmission. So gases such hydrogen, oxygen, or nitrogen, or mixtures of air have a transmit of practically immediate. Then gray body. Gray body basically a practical body means its absorptivity of a surface does not vary with the temperature, and wavelength of incident radiation is constant. So this is basically gray body. And with the ready body, alpha rho and tau body are assumed to be uniform over the entire wavelength. Means with respect to the temperature, it does not change alpha rho and tau. It is constant. Okay. And wavelength will be remain constant. So this is called the gray body. So these are the concept of black body, opaque body, white body, and gray body. Next, first we consider the black body. So previously we discussed about the black body is an object that absorbs all the radiant energy reaching its surface. Okay. So here alpha equals to 1, rho equals to 0, and tau equals to 0. So no actual body is perfectly black, but consider black body for an ideal with the radiation characteristics of real body can be confidently compared. So first we have to compare the black body. Any real body, consider it is a black body. Then concept of this black body, we find out what will be the heat transfer rate. Then we go to the by a characteristic parameter. This is called emissivity. We find out what will be the heat transfer on a black. Okay. So what is the black body? Is a following property. First, it looks black at all wavelength from 0 to infinity because it absorbs all the energy. So there will be no reflection or transmission. So because of this energy absorbed, it looks like a black. Okay. It is a perfectly absorbed without reflection and transmission. It is valid for all wavelengths. So all wavelength, it is a perfect absorber. At any given temperature and wavelength, nobody can emit more radiation than a black body. So black body basically emits more radiation than any other body. So for this reason, we concept of the black body is very required to what is the radiation energy. All if you understand when you study the thermodynamics, we consider the Carnot cycle will be the maximum efficiency. We consider the Carnot cycle, then we find out what will be the practical. Similar to here also in radiation, we find out what will be the maximum radiation heat transfer by consider the body is a black body. Then some emissivity will be there. So from this we can find out what will be the heat transfer, radiation heat transfer for the perfect body. So it emits radiation uniformly all time. Similarly, you see its radiation it absorbs all the radiant energy and as well as in uniformly in all directions. So this is called sometimes called diffuse body also. So what will be the example of a black body? Because this is not practically actual body will be the perfectly black. But so what we'll do? Consider a hollow enclosure with a very small hole for the passage of incident radiation. Next slide there will be a figure. So incident radiation energy passes through the small opening. Some of this energy is absorbed by the inside surface and some is reflected. However, most of the energy is absorbed for on a second incident. Again, small fraction is reflected. After a number of such reflections, the amount of energy is extremely very small and very little. It may be negligible. So this is called a hologram, basically. So this is the figure you see. So here this is a small opening, and first the ray will be inserted. So what will be happen? A small amount, because this is not a perfect black body. So you consider this is a black body. So a small amount energy will be reflected. Then again it will be reflected and again strike on the another surface of the black. Then another in this way. At the last, you see this is a small amount energy, very negligible amount energy will be reflected by the body. So what will be the example of the black body? So isothermal function with small aperture approximate a black body and are frequently used to calibrate the heat transfer or thermometer and other radiator device. So this is the concept of the black body. Next, solid angle, very important. Suppose there will be an arc, and this is the center of the arc. And if we join it, so this distance, the radius will be r, and length of the arc will be the s, and this will be the theta in radian. So for a cone concept of the cone, so what is the theta? What will be the theta in radian? What will be the theta?
S by R.
S by r. So this is for any length of the arc, you can find out this. Similarly, so this is the angle of the curve, or this is called the angle of the curve. But for spherical surface, because the radiation concerning a spherical surface, so in spherical surface, basically we do not consider the arc, we consider the area, a small area. So similar to here, this is, you see, this is, so if this is a spherical, suppose this is your spherical, So in this spherical, you take a small arc, and this is the center of the sphere. So this is not a single line. So this is the area you consider. Okay. So for this area, what will be the angle? This is called basically the solid angle for this. So this solid angle will be, this is called dW, and dW equals to the area which the surface will be emitted radiation with the angle. So this is with the radius. So this is r. So dA by r square. So this the angle will be called dA by r square. Okay. So the solid angle is defined as the angle subtended by a unit area on the hemispherical or spherical surface of unit radius when joining the center of the hemisphere or sphere. It is also defined as the ratio of the area of the surface of a sphere enclosed by a conical surface forming the angle to the square of the radius of the sphere. It is unit is steradian. Similarly, when you find out the arc length, the angle is called basically the radian, but it is called steradian. Okay, and it is denoted by SI. So the solid angle dW equals to dA by r square. So basically, I will show you a figure. If you see, this is basically the hemispherical surface. So here, this is the small element you take, and this is the distance r. So what will be the, then if this is the area will be dA2, then solid angle will be dA2 by r square. Because if you join this, suppose this is your center point, now you join this like this. So if this four subtended is a solid angle, a cone type space. Okay. So this angle is called the solid angle basically. Clear? So if you understand what will be the solid angle. So in three-dimensional space, when you consider a spherical surface or hemispherical surface, then here we consider the what will be the area where the emission takes place or emitted radiation takes place, and then find out the solid angle from the center point of the hemispherical sphere. So the solid angle will be dA by r square. Next property will be the emission of a real surface. So surface emission properties. What will be the different types of properties will be the surface of the radiator surface. So the rate of emission of the radiation body depend upon the following factor. First one is the temperature of the surface. What will be the temperature of the surface? Sixth one is the nature of the surface, and the third is the wavelength of the frequency of the radiation. So the following parameter deals with the surface emission property are given. First one is the total emissive power. So the emissive power or total emissive power is defined as the total amount of radiation. Remember, total amount of the radiation emitted by a body per unit area per unit time. The emissive power is defined the total amount of a radiation emitted by a body per unit area per unit time. Means per unit area, what will be the, means basically the total emissive power, if it is Q, so we can write Q by A basically. So this is unit by watt and per unit. So this is basically watt per meter square unit. So what you will be ready to emission radiation flow watt, and this is meter square. So watt per meter square will be the unit basically. And from Stefan-Boltzmann law, we can prove that. We will show you how to prove the emissive power for a black body equals to sigma into Q/4, and this is the, and total emissive power equals to sigma A Q/4, and here sigma is called Stefan-Boltzmann constant. This is 5.67 to 10 to the power -8 watt per meter square Q/4. Okay. Then monochromatic or spectral emissive power. So this is basically total emissive power. Now, for a particular wavelength, you can find out. Suppose you suppose for wavelength, suppose 10 to the power -1, 10 to the power -2, 10 to the power -10 to the power 10, then 10 1, then 2. So each wavelength, what will be the emissive power you can find out. Okay. Then you integrate the summation of the all emissive power and get the total emissive power. So basically, the monochromatic or spectral emissive power is determining the spectral distribution of the energy radiation. by a surface. So at any given temperature, the amount of radiation emitted per unit wavelength vary with the different wavelength. So basically the monochromatic emissive power is defined as the rate of energy radiated per unit area, per unit time and per unit wavelength. Okay, so the total emissive power we can write, this is summation of E lambda d lambda watt per meter square, because each emissive, suppose you can find out, so suppose your spectrum emissive power 0 to 10 to the power minus 10 to the power 4. Okay, so each wavelength, suppose 0, 1, 2, then 10 to the power, each wavelength you can find out what will be the emissive power. Then if you summation, you get the total emissive power. So basically, the monochromatic or spectral emissive power, basically the emissive power per each wavelength. Okay, clear? So this is denoted by E lambda. And for a real surface, we can write the emissive power from a real surface is epsilon sigma 8 UR4. Here epsilon is called emissivity of the material. So emissivity of the material is defined as the ability of the surface of a body to radiate heat. And it is also defined as the ratio of the emitting power of any body to the emissive power of a black body. So basically, we can write emissivity equals to emissive power of the body divided by E by EB. Okay, so this is the emissivity equals to emissive. Suppose if you consider a perfect body, so of the material, now you consider this is a real surface. Now you consider find out the what is the emissivity if you consider this surface as a black body. You find out the EB. Then if you find out what will be the then actual, because you consider the black body, but this is not the practically black body. Suppose you consider a body as a, first you consider what will be the emissive power if you consider this body as a black body. So from this you can find out sigma 8 therefore you find out the total emissive power. Okay. Then if you multiply by emissivity, then you get the what will be the emissive power if you consider this is a perfect body. Okay. So basically this is E by EB. And for black body this is 1, for white body this is 0, and for grey body it lies between 0 to 1. Okay. Next, intensity of radiation. Okay. So when a surface element emits radiation, all of it will be incident by a hemispherical surface placed over the element. So find out the definition. The intensity of radiation emitted by a surface. The intensity of radiation emitted by a surface in a given direction. In a given direction, underline this is defined as the rate of energy. Defined as the rate of energy leaving a surface in the specified direction per unit solid angle per unit projected area in the direction of the perpendicular to the direction of the radiation. Now if you see the figure, so in this direction radiation emitted. Okay, so intensity of radiation equals to, first, in a given direction, very important term, in a given direction. So in a given direction means in this direction, okay. Next is defined as the rate of energy leaving the surface. So here rate of energy equals to dq for this surface. For ds surface, the rate of energy emitted will be dq. Okay, dq in the specified direction per unit solid angle. So in this, what will be the solid angle? This is a dw. dw will be the solid angle in this direction. Yes, and per unit projected area. So this is the normal direction. So this is the dA. So this angle will be the theta. So projected area inside the normal, this is dA cos theta. So dq divided by dw dA cos theta. Okay. So from the definition we can find out the intensity of radiation in a given direction is defined as the rate of energy leaving a surface in the specified direction, means this direction, per unit solid angle per unit projected area. So in this, suppose radiation will takes place in this direction. Okay, so in this direction dq amount of emitted radiation. So the emitted radiation in this direction dq divided by, in this direction, solid angle dw plus into projected area. So this is your normal direction. So if this angle will be the theta and this will be the dw, area will be dA. This will be, so what will be the this area? This will be if we projected in this surface. So basically this is dA cos theta. If we projected here, this area. So this is dA cos theta. So this is the definition of the intensity of radiation. So intensity of radiation is the emitted radiation in a specified direction. So intensity radiation in a specified direction is defined as the emitted radiation in the given direction per unit solid angle per unit projected area. Yeah. So this is about the intensity of radiation. The relation between emissive power and intensity of radiation. So here we take a hemispherical shape, and this is the center of the sphere. This dA, in the center of hence we take an elementary area dA1 at the center of the sphere, as shown in figure. So another second elementary area dA2 absorbed by the portion of the some portion of the hemispherical surface. So this is the dA2. We take a surface on the hemispherical surface. Clear? And this is at the center. Now here phi is the called azimuthal angle, and theta will be angle depend upon the surface. Means phi basically you rotate as a 0 to 360 degrees, 360 degree, because it will start from here and it will go around 360 degree, and but theta will be rotated from 0 to 90 degree because it will be start means from this. Okay, clear? Now the projected area of D1, the projected area D1 perpendicular to the line joining D1 and D2. So this is your D1 and D2 line joining, and this is the perpendicular line. So the projected area of the D1, this is, and D1 and D2, this is D1 cos theta. As the F, this is the angle will be the theta. So in this, clear? So basically, if you see the orientation of this dA1 and dA2 in angle theta with the normal direction is a normal plane. Okay, so the projected area on this normal plane, if the angle will be the theta, so this is the dA1 cos theta. Clear? Next, so the solid angle is subtended by dA2. So if this is the dA2, so the solid angle will be this is the dA2. So this is the dW2 if we consider. So the solid angle subtended by dA2 equals to dW2 equals to dA2 by r square, if the radius will be the r according to the definition of the solid angle. So dA2 by r square. So the intensity of radiation, what is the from the intensity of radiation? So intensity of radiation is defined by the energy radiated from a particular direction divided by the projected area into solid angle. So dQ1 is the rate of radiation from D1 to dA2. Here the radiation takes them from D1 means elementary area 1 to elementary area 2. So here the solid angle will be because it is 1 to 2. So the projected area will be dA1 and the solid angle is subtended by 2. So this is dA2 by r square. So from the figure, even now, if you see the figure, now this distance will be r from this center point up to this point. This is r also. So what will be the area of this small element? So if we consider this arc, so if this angle will be d theta, so this is r d theta. Clear? So basically this it will be like this. Very small element. So what is because this is r. So if from r d theta we can find out this distance by r. Now what will be this distance? Okay. Now you see because this is theta, so what will do? So this is basically you have to find out this area. So how can you find out? So this is basically if you projected on the surface. So this is basically if this angle will be d phi. So this distance into this angle d phi. So how can you find out? So if it is, you see this from the center point to this distance, how can we calculate? What will be this distance? This will be calculated from this. If you see, if this is theta, so this is r. So vertical component will be r cos theta and horizontal component will be r sin theta. Clear? So this distance will be r sin theta. Okay. Now, what is the angle? It will be d phi. This angle will be d phi. So what is this arc? Will be r sin theta into d phi, and this arc will be remain same all over. So this area, this distance will be r sin theta into d phi. So what will be the area then? R sin theta d theta into, so r d theta into r sin theta d phi. So this will be r square sin theta and d theta d phi. Now, so the figure, so d8 equals to r d theta r sin theta. So this will be r square sin theta d theta d phi. So now this 1 and 2 equation we get dq1 equals to, if we put the value I into dA1 cos theta into dA2, instead of dA2 write r square sin theta d theta d phi. Clear? So it will become as I dA1 sin theta cos theta d theta d phi. Because here this is a cos theta, and if we put the value r square sin theta d theta d phi, so it is comes as r square cancelled out. So it will be sin theta d theta into d phi. So this is for a one elementary area to another elementary area. So now this is elementary area 1 to elementary area 2. What will be the heat transfer? Now from the center of this sphere, what will be the total heat transfer? So this is the integration. Now integration, this will be I dA1 theta equals to 0 to pi by 2, and theta, this is the basically phi equals to 0 to twice pi. Now you see, now this is the phi basically rotate in this circle. So it will be 0 to 360 degree, and theta will be rotated from this surface to up to this surface. It will be 0 to 90 degree, or from this side. So this is basically 0 to 90 degree. So theta limit will be 0 to 90 degree, and phi limit will be 0 to 360 degree. Okay. And here we take in radian term. So this is 0 to pi by 2, and this is 0 to twice pi. So first we integrate sin theta cos theta d theta d phi. So now if we consider the phi first, this will be the, because phi will be a single term, so this is the integrate first phi term. So this is by 0 to pi by 2, because twice pi comes in sin theta cos theta. Now if we consider the 2, so 2 sin theta cos theta, it will be, there will be term 2 must be there. So here basically it will be phi, and here this will be twice term will be there. So this is pi I dA1 theta 0 to pi by 2 twice sin theta cos theta d theta. Now this is twice sin theta cos theta, means sin 2 theta. Now if we integrate, this is cos 2 theta. Okay, twice cos 2 theta by 2. So this will be 2 to cancel out. So we get, this is pi I dA1 into, and if we put the value, it will be 1 minus 0. Okay, so this will be the, we get Q equals to pi I dA1. Clear? Now from the definition of emissive power, we know E equals to emissive power into dA1 for a particular surface. So now if we put E dA1 equals to pi I into dA1, so from this we calculate E equals to pi into I. So from this relation we can find out the total emissive power of a diffuse surface or black surface is equal to pi times of the intensity of the radiation. This would be very, very important, and for the calculation part also this relation must be used for the black body. Here we discuss here on the black body. Okay, so this is about the relation between the emissive power to the intensity of radiation. Okay, next, different law of radiation. First law is the Kirchhoff's law of radiation. So what is the statement of the Kirchhoff's law? That the law states that at any temperature, the ratio of the total emissive power E to the total absorptivity alpha is constant for all the substances which are in thermal equilibrium with their environment. Here very important term, this is the thermal equilibrium. If the body in thermal equilibrium, the E by alpha E by alpha must be constant. Okay. Now, how can we prove that? Now, suppose here we consider a large body, and outside of the body is insulated. So only the radiation takes place inside of the body. Okay. A small body A1, and this area will be A. A small body A1 will be enclosed inside this large body. Okay, and this is a hollow space basically. So basically, if place what will happen, all the radiated energy from the coming out of this large body will be incident on the small body. Now let the energy fall on the hollow space unit surface of the body at the rate at EB. So if you consider the emitted energy from this hollow surface per unit area will become as EB. So another is fraction alpha. So small body will be energy because there will be alpha means absorptivity, all of you know. So because of this alpha in some amount of alpha will be absorbed by this body its own. So for a small body, we can write this will be the alpha 1 A1 into EB, because total energy, or previously what it is, suppose if it will be total energy Q amount will be inserted upon this, some amount will be the absorbed, some will be the reflected, and some will be transmitted to the lower plane. Because here a small body occupy inside it, so it will be basically alpha amount absorptivity amount of the total heat will be absorbed by the body. So how much of the absorptivity? If the alpha 1 is the absorptivity of the body A1 and area is the A1, so what will be the how much total energy EB into area into alpha 1? So this alpha 1 A1 to BB amount energy will be absorbed by the body, small body. So from this we can write, if body in thermal equilibrium, so the A1 E1 means the if body is thermal equilibrium means how much energy will be absorbed by the, it will also emitted by this body also. So if the E1 is the emissive power of this body, so total emissive A1 E1 equals to alpha 1 into A1 into EB. Now, so this is for the body number 1. Now what we'll do, instead of body 1, we another body, small body will be replaced whose absorptivity is alpha 2, area will be A2. So same way we can find out A2 into E2 equals to alpha 2 into A2 into EB. Okay. So now if we you say, so now you see here EB equals to E1 by alpha 1 equals to E2 by alpha 2 equals to, so if we n number of body, so you get E1 by alpha 1 plus E2 by alpha 2 plus E3 by alpha 3, just we replace different area of the body or different number of body. So we get this is the E by alpha. Okay. So as per the definition of emissivity, we know E by EB equals to emissivity. So from this we can write EB equals to E by emissivity. So now from 3 and 4 we can write emissivity equals to absorptivity. So means if the body is thermal equilibrium, so then the absorptivity of a body we can write equals to the emissivity of this body. Okay, for a black body. So Kirchhoff's law, the emissivity of a body is equals to its absorptivity when the body in thermal equilibrium. Hello. Okay, আমি আরেকবার বলে দিচ্ছি। So Planck's law, basically in 1900, Max Planck showed the quantum argument that the spectral distribution of the radiation is given by this twice by c square h lambda divided by exponential ch by lambda kt minus 1. This is basically the Planck's law, and different values c, h are given. Similarly, here also in another term we can write c1 lambda to the power minus 5 divided by exponential c2 by lambda t. Here c1 is the twice by c square h because c, h all are constant. Similarly here ch by k also constant, so it will be written by c1 and c2. Now if we draw the graph with monochromatic emissive power with different wavelength. Okay, so first if we draw, so if we add 1000 Kelvin, if we draw different emissive wavelength, this is 0, 0.8, 1, 2, we get this type of curve. Similarly at temperature 1500 Kelvin, at different wavelength we draw this type of curve. Similarly at 2000 Kelvin we get this type of curve at different value of wavelength. Okay. Now from this diagram, what will conclude. First one is that you see with the increased temperature, emissive power increases for all wavelength. You see, is if you increase the temperature, suppose this is your 1000 Kelvin, so this is the temperature, this is the profile. For 15 Kelvin, 1500 Kelvin, this is the profile. For 2000 Kelvin, this is. So you see the increase the oil wavelength, increase the temperature. In each emissive power distribution at any particular wavelength or temperature is a peak value. You see, suppose in 1000 Kelvin, here this will be the peak value. In 1500 Kelvin, this is the peak value. At 200, this is the means each wavelength, each temperature, there will be a one peak value. Okay. Next, with the rising temperature, peak value shift towards the smaller wavelength. You see, suppose first you see 1000 Kelvin, the peak value at the topmost right corner, then 1500, then left, shifted left, then 200. So you see, this will be the shifted left. Yeah. With the changing temperature, not only emissive power changes, but also spectral distance also changes. So you see, if you change the temperature, the distribution also changes, and also the spectrum power also changes. And if you join the peak value, we get the delta max T is equal to constant. Okay, so from this graph, we get this. Then another formula, this is called Rayleigh-Jeans formula. Rayleigh-Jeans formula basically the modification of the Planck formula. Okay, so from the Planck law, we know IB lambda is to EB lambda by pi. So this is twice pi c square h. An extra term will be pi lambda to the power 5 will become. Because you see previous slide, this will be the lambda to the power minus 5 will be the upper term. So here we pi lambda to the power 5. Okay. So from this we get this is twice c square h by lambda to the power 5 exponential c2 by lambda t minus 1. And all the constant value will be given c2 ac by k. So now IB lambda by 2 to the power 5. Now what we'll do? We divide both sides t to the power 5. So it will become as IB lambda by t to the power 5. So this is twice c square h by t lambda to the power 5 exponential c2 by lambda t minus 1. Now, if lambda is very greater than 1, then what will happen? The c2 by lambda is less than 1. So then exponential c2 by lambda t minus 1. So this is basically e to the power x minus 1. This series will be e to the power x minus 1. So it will be expanded. This is x plus 1 by 2 factorial x square plus 1 by 3 factorial x cube in this way. So because the c2 by lambda is very small, so we neglect the other term. So this is c2 by lambda t. So from this we can write this is IB lambda to the power 5 equals to twice c square c2 into lambda to the power 4. So this is about the Rayleigh-Jeans formula. Wien displacement law. So in 1893, Wien established the relationship between the temperature of a black body and the wavelength at which the maximum value of monochromatic emissive power works. Basically, from Wien displacement law, basically we can find out a relation between the temperature and the monochromatic emissive power. This is lambda. Okay. And previously, when we discussed the curve, if you see the curve, that each point, each wavelength and each temperature, you see there will be a peak point. So at this peak point, we basically join the line. So this is called the lambda max into t. Basically each peak point. This line will be represent the lambda max into t. So this will be get basically from the Wien displacement law. So how can we get it? So from the Planck constant law, we can write E lambda b equals to C1 lambda to the minus 5 divided exponential c2 by lambda t minus 1. So in which cases, if you see each point here, EB will be the maximum because E lambda b will be the here maximum, at this point maximum. So each point there will be peak value. Peak value EB will be maximum. So at maximum value, if we derivative with the lambda, then this will be the 0. So if we put the value and this will be C1 lambda to the minus 5 divided exponential c2 by lambda t minus 1. So this is the with respect to lambda. So both term will be lambda. So first we derivative the C1 lambda to the minus 5. This is constant. So exponential c2 lambda t minus 1. So basically, if you see here, this is the upper term C1 lambda, so and lower term. So this is both term will be contains the lambda. So you have to derivative both the term. So first we constant the lower term and derivative the upper term first. So if we derivative the upper term, so this is minus 5 C1 lambda to the power minus 6. Then upper term constant, lower term derivative. So lower term derivative first c to the power lambda t minus 1. So this will be the e to the power x minus 1 basically. If we derivative e to the power x into x derivative of the x, so this is c2t minus 1 by lambda square, and this is the lower term. So if we simplify it, we get this is the term minus 5 c1 lambda to the power c exponential c2 by lambda t plus 5 c1 lambda to the power minus 6, because if we multiply it minus, if just multiplication of this, it will be 0 and lower term will be the 0. So from this we get, if we both side divided 5 c1 lambda to the minus 6, we get minus exponential c2 by lambda t plus 1 by 5 c2 1 by lambda t exponential equals to 0. So this is a complicated solution. So by trial and error method, it will be find out c2 by lambda t equals to 4.965 or lambda max t equals to a constant term. So from this we can call this that lambda max t is a constant for a particular lambda. Okay. So if we find out what is the value of lambda c2 by 4.965 and c2 will be value will be 1.439 in Planck's law, you can find out this is the c2 value 1.4388 into 10 to the power 4 or 1.4388 10 to the power minus 2 meter Kelvin. Okay. So here if we put the value, this is micrometer Kelvin or this is comes at 92898 UMK or 2900 UMK. So this is from this we can conclude that delta max T equals to 2898 UMK. So this law basically hold true for the real substance also. Okay, but some derivation must be there. Okay, so if we combine with the Planck law, so we know lambda b, we know c1 lambda by e to the power c2 by lambda t minus 1. Now if we put the value, find out the what is the maximum emissive power or particular lambda. So if we put lambda instead of lambda, this is lambda max lambda max. So if we put the value, we get E lambda b equals to 1.285 into 10 to the power minus 5 t to the power 5 watt per meter square per meter lambda. So this is the maximum lambda we get for a particular temperature. Okay. Next, Stefan movement. So basically the emissive power of a black body, we find out this is the sigma to the 4, means that this loss basically states that from the Stefan-Boltzmann law, the emissive power of a black body directly proportional to the fourth power of its absolute temperature. How can we prove that? So basically this law stated EB equals to sigma to the power 4, and sigma is called Stefan-Boltzmann's curve. This value will be 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8. How you, sometime in your problem sigma value is not given. How can you remember? 5678 means 5678, 5.67 into 10 to the power minus. In this way you can remember this 5678. Clear? So from Planck's law we can write this is twice pi c square h divided by delta to the power 5 into e to the power c2 by lambda t. Instead of exponential we write e. Okay, minus 1 or twice pi c1 c square h equals to c1. Here h c square equals to c1 lambda to the power 5 e to the power c2 by lambda t minus 1. Okay. Now this is for a particular lambda. Now what is the total emissive power of a black body? This is lambda 0 to infinity twice pi c1 lambda to the power 5 e to the power c2 by lambda t minus 1 d lambda, or if we here twice pi c1 is a constant term, so we get twice pi c1 0 to infinity d lambda by lambda to the power 5 e to the power c2 by lambda t minus 1. Now in this problem we just consider c2 by lambda t equals to y. So then lambda equals to c2 by yt and d lambda equals to minus c2 y square t dy. So in this problem we put the value c2 by lambda t equals to y. Okay, and lambda equals to c2 by yt. So first twice pi, if you see twice pi c1 into integration 0 to infinity. Now instead of dy we write this value minus c2 y square t dy. Clear? Instead of lambda we write c to the power 5 y to the power 5 t to the power 5, because this is lambda to the power 5. So this is c to the power 5 y to the power 5 t to the power 5 into e to the power y minus 1. Clear? Or if we simplify it we get the c2. So this is the c to the this is basically a c2 will be there. Clear? So c2 c to the power 5. So basically this is c to the power 4. Clear? And this is t to the power 5 t. So this is t to the power 4. Clear? and this is twice by C1. So it is comes twice by C1 to the power 4 by C to the power 4. Only upper term will be y cube by e to the power y minus 1. Now we can write 0 to infinity y cube e to the power y minus means e to the power minus y plus e to the power minus 2y plus e to the power minus 3y plus e to the power minus 4y plus dot dot e to the power minus ny. This is a infinite series. So this is y cube into e to the power minus y minus e to the power minus 2y. This is the dy. Now any series if 0 to infinity y to the power m e to the power minus ny equals to factorial m divided by n to the power m plus 1. Clear? Now here the y value will be cube. So here n m equals to cube. N equals to each term you see n will be different. Some first term this is 1, second term 2, third term 3, fourth term 4 in this way. Okay. So we can write y cube to the power minus ny equals to, because this is a series, this is factorial 3 by n to the power 4. This is the series definition. So we can write twice by c1 to the power 4 by c4. This is factorial 3 by, first this is basically y cube, first term will be y cube into e to the power minus y. Then second term will be y cube e to the power minus 2y. In this way all term here. So so first term will be 3 by factorial 1, then second term comes as 3 by factorial 2, third term comes 3 by factorial 3 to the 4 in this way. Clear? So this value, this series, the summation of this series comes as 6 pi to the 4 by 90, and this is called 6 sigma to the 4, where sigma equals to 2 pi to the power 5 into c1 by 15 c to the 4, because 6 by 90 equals to 1 by 15, where c1 is equal to 8c square and c2 equals to 1.43 10 square, and we get, if we put the value, sigma equal to 5.16 10 to the minus 8. Next law will be the Lambert cosine law. So basically this law states that the total emissive power E theta from a radiating plane surface in any direction is directly proportional to the cosine of the angle of the emission. Basically, suppose from this point the radiation takes place in this direction. Okay, and this is the surface. In this surface, this is the radiated surface, and from the normal, this angle will be theta. Clear? So basically, the cosine law states that the emissive power E theta from the radiated plane. So this is the E theta. E theta. If it is angle will be theta, so with the normal direction, the emissive power is the direction which is normal. Then E theta equals to En cos theta. Means in this direction, if the radiation will be normal direction will be En, then we can write En equals to E theta cos theta. So En equals to E theta equals to En cos theta. Similar to previous one. When the normal direction, basically this is a projection we take. These two components. One is the cos theta, one is the sin theta basically. So then we can find out this E theta equals to En cos theta. Or sometimes you can write E1 equals to E theta if the radiated occurs in this direction. So the above equation is true only for the diffuse radiation surface, and similarly the radiating emitting from the point on a surface is termed as diffuse if the intensity I is constant. This law is called Lambert cosine. Basically, this is a simple law. Now do a problem. The effective temperature of a body having an area of 0.12 meter square is 527 degrees centigrade. Calculate the following: the total rate of energy emission, the intensity of normal radiation, and the wavelength of the maximum monochromatic emissive power. Okay. So first we find out the total rate of energy emission. So total rate of energy emission we can know this is sigma A to the power 4. Yeah. So first we find out what is the value of T. So T here, this is 527, always in terms to Kelvin. 27 plus 273. So this is the Kelvin value. Area is given 0.12. and sigma we know 5 point, remember always sigma value here, the sigma value is not given. So sigma, how you remember, this is 5678 means 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8. If it is problem given, okay, but if it is not given, remember in this way, 5678, 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8. So if you put the value, we get the E. Then intensity of nominal radiation. So we know I equals to E by pi. From this we get the I. Then the wavelength of maximum monochromatic emissive power. So for monochromatic emissive power, W max T, we get this is 2898. 2898. So here temperature is given. This is temperature is given. So from this we get the W max. Very simple problem. This is the term W max. This is the wavelength of the maximum monochromatic emissive power. Okay. If we, so from this we get the W max. Now all of you show the problem. So first, given A equals to 0.12 meter square, T equals to 800 Kelvin. Now, first we find out the total emissive power. So this is sigma A to the power 4. So 5.687 into 10 to the power minus 8 plus 0.12 into 800 to the power 4. Or we get, this is 2786.9. Okay. What? Next, intensity IBN equals to E to the EB by pi. So this is sigma to the power 4. Here, remember one thing. Here EB is not equals to this because EB is the emissive power. Here this is not actually EB, it is the total rate of energy emission. Okay, so here EB equals to sigma into the power 4, not A. A we do not consider the A. So this is sigma to the power 4 by pi. Okay, so from this we get the intensity of radiation. And next one is the maximum wavelength. So this is delta max equals to 2898. So from this we get the delta max.